Chili's got a new sign.
Yeah.
Somebody ripped my sign. I had my sign right there. Somebody ripped it down. That's so messed up. I put a no on Prop 22 sign over the freeway. And man, that didn't last very long. It was only up there for a few days before somebody tore it off. I want to have a talk, guys. So, I've learned a lot about narcissism in the last year or so. And I've discovered that my mom is severely narcissistic. And there's actually, believe it or not, there's some limited benefits to this. I'm not going to go into that right now. But overall, it's not a great thing. And I want to do videos on this channel of things that I've discovered about it and just talk about it, because you guys out there are probably dealing with narcissism yourself, and what helped me is watching videos of people talking about it. So I decided, because I'm learning so much about this, that maybe it's time for me to start talking about it. So I want to talk about specific situations. I might even record stuff that's happening and post it and talk about it, because if my mom wants to sue me, then go ahead, for posting videos of her. So this is what I've discovered. So when she's now a narcissist, something happened to them early in life, in childhood, some sort of abuse that caused this. So we should really feel bad for them, even though they cause abuse, and it could be torture to deal with, literally. So something I've noticed, I've been able to deal with her a lot better. I've moved into my parents' house. I saw this movie with this comedian, Albert Brooks was his name. No, what was his name? I can't remember, but this is like 20 years ago, he made this movie where he moves back in with his mom for some reason. I can't remember why, but it ends up being very cathartic, I believe is the word, and a lot of other words. He really learns a lot about himself by spending time with his mom in his 40s. And so I've always thought about that. I always thought that would be kind of a cool thing for me, to move back in with my mom and just kind of hang out and just try to learn more about our relationship, and maybe that could help advance my own life. And so I'm in that situation. I've been here for 2 years now. I came in thinking it was going to be 3 to 6 months, but not paying rent is addicting. And also I'm gaining weight. So yeah, my mom loves to feed. That part of the advantage. My mom loves to feed me. So, she's literally a fanatic about feeding everybody. But this is what I've discovered. Like, I'm getting very specific here. So, narcissists, they feel empty inside. And sometimes when everything's going good, everything's great. But when they're feeling particularly empty, when the void is very present, they start to have behaviors that can be very difficult to deal with. And some of it's subtle, and some of it is, downright abuse. So what I want to talk about now is thank yous, and it's much more subtle. This type of this display of narcissism. So what she does, she'll be thanking me. Like a couple days ago, she must have thanked me 15 times. And you think, look, well, what's the problem with that? Like, please and thank you, like these are good things. Well, no, not in this case. And I don't want to say it's a bad thing, but what's bad is why she's doing it. Narcissists love control. That gives them supply. Narcissists are always looking for narcissistic supply that comes in different forms, and control gives them tons of supply. They love control. So What's happening is she's thanking me because that makes her feel in control. Because what she's thanking me for is stuff that she wants me to do. Even if she didn't ask me to do it, like I just see that the trash is full, so I take out the trash. You know, like no big deal. I mean, that's what anybody should do, right? Like the trash, when the trash is full, you can't put any more trash in it. So it just makes sense to take the trash out, put a new bag in. Well, she'll thank me for that, even though she never asked me to do it. And that sounds like completely fine, and it is. But you got to understand what's going on in her head. And I wish I would have taken notes of all the different things that she was thanking me for, because some of it was kind of ridiculous. It's like, oh, you did. And sometimes she was thanking me for something, and I didn't even hear what she said. Like, I don't even know why she was thanking me. And then, yesterday, I got some Hawaiian Tropic chapstick, which is my favorite, and I put it on my lips after I brush my teeth every day because then I never have chapped lips. So whether I'm skiing or surfing, whatever I'm doing, making out, whatever I'm doing, as long as I put once a day after I brush my teeth, it only needs to be one time that I put on the chapstick. Like if I brush my teeth 3 times in a day, I only need to put on the chapstick once and I'll never get chapped lips. My lips are always soft and wonderful. I've been doing that for years. So I thought, like, well, I bought a bunch of chapstick because a lot of times I'll buy it at Target, but they'll be out and I can't find it. So when I see it, I'll buy like all of them. I think I bought 10 chapsticks. So then my mom's like, she's been particularly down, which another thing with narcissism is they almost seem like they're bipolar or something, the way they have these ups and downs. And what happens is if somebody causes them a narcissistic injury, I mean, they could literally get sometimes physically sick. And in a way, it's kind of all in their head, but they're just so bent out of shape because somebody offended them. And the offense could be literally nothing. Like if they're talking to you and you're in a hurry and you're like, all right, I have to go, like that could be a narcissistic injury, even though you're being completely reasonable. I want to get straight to the point here though. So I gave her one of these chapsticks, thinking like, it would be a nice thing to do, and I explained to her like I've been using this for years. I put this on after I brush my teeth, and I never have chapped lips. And she just kind of looked at me like, oh, never said thank you. I got the vibe that she really just didn't even want it. And a normal person that's not narcissistic, they would have been like, oh, thank you. They might have just been like, oh, you know what? Like, I use a different brand of chapstick. Like, I appreciate it, but like, like, don't waste this on me. Like, I probably won't even use it. Or there's like a zillion different responses that you could have gotten from a normal person. Most likely, it would have just been like, oh, thank you. Like, awesome. Like, I'll try it out. Maybe they might even let you know what they thought of it after they try it. Like, that would be like beyond normal. That would be like a really cool person. But what she did was just kind of look at me weird, not thank me, and seem generally uninterested in what I gave her. And it's messed up. And I think back on my childhood of like the different times like I tried to be of service to her, like just help her with this or that, and she didn't want that help. And that's fine. But it all comes down to that control. And that's where that negative reaction of doing something extremely nice and thoughtful, and you get this negative reaction from it. And that's what it is. That's what I've discovered. And I can't believe I'm 44 years old and I'm just figuring all this out. And it's really helpful to me because it helps me to not take it personal and just realize that she's messed up. You know, like she doesn't even have control over these behaviors. She doesn't know, she doesn't understand that what she's doing in the way that I'm beginning to understand it. And that doesn't excuse it, but it definitely helps me out to understand the dynamics of what's going on. And also just to realize, like, you know, like, don't put myself out there and do these, like, something nice, like, oh, here, I'm being thoughtful. Like, she could care less. Another example is, like, she or actually no, I'm brain dead. I think I pretty much covered what I wanted to talk about. You know, it's like I just look at it now, like, why did I bother? Like, it's just a chapstick. It's only $3, so I don't regret doing it. But I also realized that it was kind of a waste of time because it wasn't appreciated. And, like, I don't want to do, like, if I'm gonna spend any energy, I want it to be appreciated. And that's the other thing too, is I could do the most awesome thing and she will genuinely appreciate it. And literally, like, a couple hours later, something could happen where she it seems like she'll essentially reject me and be, like, really cold and mean towards me because she didn't like something. Like I was saying, like, she would be talking and let's say I walked away before she was finished. Like, that would cause her to freak the hell out. And, like, whatever I did before, like, let's say I just washed her car, like, she could completely forget about that and go on this crazy, like, angry, um like, I don't even know how to explain it, just, like, freak out and be pissed off. And it's like, shoot, like, a couple hours ago I washed your car for you and you didn't even ask. You know, not that that's something that's ever happened, but this is the kind of stuff that you deal with narcissists. Like, they don't remember, they forget the nice things that you do so quickly. But yeah, so the whole thank you thing and the chapstick, basically what I'm trying to point out is that if I'm doing something that she wants, she feels in control and she's going to be like, thank you, thank you. And it's not a genuine thank you. It's I'm in control of you. I'm in control of you. That's the way I see it. And then if you do something really nice, but, like, they don't really care about it, then they're gonna you're gonna get that negative vibe, like, you know, instead of what you would expect, be like, oh, thanks for thinking of me. So I've realized too that every girlfriend that I've had, every single one was a narcissist. And that's why, and it's because that's what I'm used to. um I'm sure there's been some narcissistic behaviors that I think now that I'm learning, I'm able to understand, like, how I should act better. And I really don't think that I'm, like, narcissism is on a spectrum. I don't think that I'm, like, very high on that spectrum, but I think that I was higher in the past. I've been through some things over the last 10 years, like leaving a couple bad relationships, coming out of back pain, and having, you know, once I was dealing with a lot less back pain, I had this insane boost of self-esteem just from that. And it had me really thinking about my life and my psychology. And I'm just in a much better place now. And I do think that 10 years ago, maybe I was a little or a lot more narcissistic than I am now. I think now I'm not very narcissistic at all. I'm at the far end of the spectrum. Like, if narcissism's over here, I'm, like, way down here now. So, I'm kind of rambling. I just went on like a little bit of a Kanye West ramble, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments if what I was saying made any sense. Um, I feel like figuring that out is kind of a revelation for me, because it's like, how do you make a thank yous a bad thing, which is essentially what I'm doing. But yeah, I just did it, guys. Like, when a narcissist is constantly thanking you, it's not because they really genuinely appreciate anything. It's because they're happy that they have control over you.